Afghanistan has said that it has not sent any officials, even though the High Peace Council is a national organization that is semi-governmental to some extent. So for the Russians, it is, I think, a success story, but it is the beginning of a process. And what needs to be figured out now is how it is going to move parallel to another process which the Americans have initiated, and whereby the Americans have been talking to the Taliban, especially those who have been holed up in an office in Doha, Qatar. So as a result, we see that the processes are moving forward. Whether they will be coordinated at some point, joined together at some point or not, remains to be seen.
So potentially a sort of two-track policy, but not necessarily tracks that are coordinated very closely. Give me an impression of what the Afghan government favours. I mean, is it more persuaded by the American initiative, or do you think it can be drawn towards the Russian efforts?
Well, till now, what we know is that the Afghans are okay with the Americans talking to the Taliban as long as the talks are not negotiations over the future of Afghanistan, and they are limited to the presence of the Americans in Afghanistan and what the Taliban are demanding in that particular environment. At the same time, the Afghan government has said that it has no conditions, no preconditions for talking to the Taliban, and it wants to be the main Afghan side for the government, obviously, that would engage. They want to, everybody has to agree to an Afghan-led and Afghan-owned process. But the Taliban have a different idea about this. The Taliban, till now, are saying that they are looking at this as a two-step process. For step one is has to do with their talks to the Americans about American withdrawal from Afghanistan, and a timetable that would set that withdrawal. And then they say once that is established and even concluded, they will initiate talks with other Afghans. I don't think that anybody else at this point, except for those who favor the Taliban position, think that this is practical. I think that there are different ways of looking at the modalities and how this would be sequenced and conditioned, what starts, what ends, and what the process would look like. And so there will be disagreement on this as far as one can tell.